You're looking live inside the Mosley show. 104, 104 today. We were kind of making sure, looking at some last minute things, all kinds of breaking news swirling around today, interesting stories floating around, monitoring the coaching carousel. You know, it's funny. Scotty Swingler, always with me here, producer, does a great job of pulling all our stuff together. In fact, today we got Scott Drew tomorrow, and Scotty, I think we can. Our buddy Ashley Hodge, I noticed up on Sikkim, has a big. I mean, Ashley's doing probably what's smart. He's realizing, okay, we don't know where this football thing's going, and of course that they need to do that. But also, it's a good time to lean into basketball. And so there's a lot of basketball stuff swirling. And, oh, my gosh, Scotty, they're talking about Cameron Carr and his NBA prospects and all that kind of stuff. And I always, with these prospects, I say, let's give it a month or so. He looks awesome, and I love what he's doing, but let's see if we can just enjoy this. Let's not worry too much about where the NBA scouts are on him. I mean, is Tunde probably going to get drafted in the first round and leave Baylor? Yes. Is Cameron Carr? I'm not so sure. A lot of these guys show up on the radar way early, and then some of them start to move up later. Like, I promise you, at Florida last year going into the tournament, Walter Clayton Jr. wasn't way up high on draft boards. And then he has this incredible breakout tournament, and Walter Clayton Jr. goes higher than anybody had anticipated. Now, was he a lottery pick? I don't know, Scotty. I can't think where exactly he went. I think he went did he go 20th or something? 20. I thought he was a first round pick. But anyway, these things can ebb and flow. Now, you always have the people that are like, oh my gosh, this European guy. Like if there's a Cooper Flagg or a Wemby out there, yeah, we already know where they're going to go in the draft. But some of these college players can come up and down and move all around. And so we have Scott Drew on tomorrow, and that to get you ready for that big Las Vegas Invitational. Whoa. Bears are going to, you talk about, okay, let's see where they are. St. John's, Creighton. That's going to be that's a meat grinder right there. You go out there and split, I'm okay with it. Is there a third day? Is there a third day to this thing? My gosh, what are they doing out there? Going to go out to Vegas, play all these games? As we get ready for our Thanksgiving week, and we give thanks for so many things. But let's start, Scotty, zeroing in, because Monday, Tuesday, these are when we start kind of getting into the Thanksgiving holidays, and we have some fun things we do in the evening. Families are getting together, family flying into town, or maybe you're traveling somewhere. But wherever you set up shop, like Monday and Tuesday night, even if you're at the airport, find a TV. Like last night, they had that thing. I don't even know where they were, Scotty. I was watching some of it, but I never did zero in on where is this happening? Where have these teams? But what will happen is 4 teams will show up at one place. And last night, Kentucky was playing against Michigan State. First of all, Scotty, that poor Kentucky coach looked like somebody had stolen his lunch money. It's like, dude, it's just early. It's okay. Tom Izzo has beat better coaches than you. You would have thought the guys and then you got Jeff Goodman. Goodman after the games, interviewing him for Field of 68 or whatever they call that. And it's just like these what do you think, Mark? This is as down as I've ever seen you. You're 3 games into the season. Why is anybody down? It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It was like guys on the verge of tears last night. Oh my gosh, Michigan State beat Kentucky. The world has ended. And then, Scotty, after that, those Kansas Jayhawks took on the Blue Devils. And, right now, Duke's ahead of Kansas. That's okay. Kansas was playing without Darren Peterson. Yeah, they looked okay. They had some moments. They had some good dunks. My man Badunga for Kansas. Whoa. If you get a sophomore, see, that's the kind of player I'm glad is sticking around, because Flory Badunga could have absolutely been drafted, but they paid him a bunch of money to come back, and that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see old Flory Badunga get a second year on the Kansas campus. I'll tell you, Scotty, who they're so happy to have gone is that guy from Michigan who was around there seemingly forever, Dickinson. You know, sometimes you get a big man who's not really built totally for the NBA that'll stick around for a long time. You had Timmy at Gonzaga, and you had Hunter Dickinson at Kansas. And he had a fine career at Kansas, but boy, they were ready to turn the page. They're like, give us something different. We want to see what's different. Kansas is I think Kansas and Baylor are fairly close in terms of, I think Peterson's probably a little better, more polished player right now than Tunde, but I think as a team, they're not that far apart from each other. Kansas is ranked either 24th or 25th in the country. Duke is up there. I didn't look. Scotty, you may have looked at that top 25 a little closer than I did. This time of year, I'm not zeroing in as closely as other times. But I do know that Michigan State ran poor old Kentucky off the floor. I mean, that guy, the old BYU coach, who's the coach at Kentucky, I mean, you talk about a sad man. My goodness. All right, also today, in setting up the show, we'll take a break today at about 2:30, 2:35, and then we are going to let you hear from Baylor's big-time soccer coach. Scotty, if we're ranking like most successful coaches at Baylor right now, I mean, Michelle Lenard's arrow is pointing way up. And she didn't seem – the good news is I kind of was fishing around today. We're going to share that interview with you. I was kind of trying to fish around to make sure nobody's kind of coming after her. But because I kind of was hearing some smoke about maybe would the Ags be interested in Michelle Lenard? They should. But, I think the Bears, I'm a little fearful right now, Scotty, because of the situation Baylor's in, where they just don't. Max kind of, out of the picture right now. We'll see what's going to happen with him. And now Cody and Jovan are, again, great, very capable. But on the football front, at least, President Livingstone is running point on everything. Now, I did like to see that she and Brad were out there when the team was getting on the bus yesterday to get out and get on the plane to go to South Bend. The president and the first gent were out there, and it's hard to miss him. I mean, he's 6'10". Man, Scotty, did you notice? And Scotty, we'll share this interview with everybody. I'm doing some big-time bandwagoning with this team. I am front-running. I was very upfront with Coach about that, but that's a fun team. Scotty's a big soccer guy. He wore his FC Dallas hat today. He certainly follows Premier League. I don't know if he's that into the American soccer, although I would imagine. Oh, by the way, Scotty, at Central National Bank, obviously the top. Well, I can't call him the top executive because then Joe will get, Nesbitt will get mad at me. But Joe Nesbitt is the CEO of Central National Bank and is a great friend of mine. But boy, one of the major executive vice VPs over there is Brian Fonville. He's also, like you, Scotty, kind of a soccer aficionado, soccer fan. And he was reaching out to me last night to tell me Team USA had won another, I don't know what they're doing right now, like some friendlies or something, but they're kind of playing well. In fact, one of the guys on that team, and Scotty, you might know his name, he buried a shot in that game against who I don't know last night that, wow, I kind of have to say, I was like, okay, Americans, okay, my little American friends, I like what you're doing. Scotty, can you join me for a moment, and can you speak to the American friendly of last night? Can you help me on that front? I feel like
now, how deep do you want me to go into this, Mose?
I just want you to tell me, like, how good a win was it? Does it mean anything? And like, do I have reason to kind of feel encouraged about our friends, the Americans?
You do, and most of my friends are feeling encouraged this morning. Quickly, last year we fired our head coach from the previous World Cup, Greg Berhalter, who had already been hired to coach through this World Cup cycle after some disappointing results. Hired Mauricio Pochettino. He's an Argentinian. He's coached in the Premier League, and the team has struggled since he was hired. It's been a very disappointing turn of events over the past year. Both these games, not only the win against Uruguay last night, but Paraguay as well over the weekend, marked a turning point for me as a fan, especially because, Matt, America won last night without some of its very best players, including Christian Pulisic, who's a top 25 player in the world. So, that result last night, indeed, quite encouraging for Team USA. You got to take every friendly with a grain of salt because it is another level when you play a real competition. But it was definitely a welcome sign this week that we won both those games because it's been about a year of more questions than answers.
Okay, now that is exactly what I wanted. I mean, it was, I think, the only thing else I want, Scotty, is right above your head right now to put that, because I want that right there, that update on the American soccer team brought to you by CNB.
Boom.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I like it. And the only thing is, it was kind of blocking Scotty's FC Dallas hat. I used to know, like kind of be able to tell you a couple of players on that team. I am a little bit removed from that at this point. There's somebody in soccer named Suarez that is of interest to me that that sometimes pops up in my news feed. And then the guy who ended up in Miami, he was of interest to me. Like when he came through town, like that felt like something I needed to go be a part of.
Matt,
yeah.
Speaking of Central National Bank, I'll go ahead and run a spoiler here. We got some new snazzy looking commercials to run today from CNB featuring Baylor Lady Bears. Sorry, they're no longer called that. The Baylor women's basketball team.
Yes, sir. Every time we say it the old way, Baylor hits us with a couple of demerits. And they have files on all of us over there, and mine is a little bit shaky. Mine is very volatile. I think I go through moments where they've loved me. There's at least one person over there that does not at all times, but most of them, it's just kind of up and down. But then some of them, it's like way up. It stays way up. So anyway, I remember. We used to have files in radio, and one time, this very famous guy I did radio with, Scotty, who you remember, named Randy Galloway, he was heard screaming down the hall something that he should not have called our producer, but he called him something very, very bad that I can't say on here. And they told him, by this time, he's already, 73, 74 years old. And they said, we're going to have to put that in your file. This is like this legendary radio guy. And I was just imagining them putting this in the file that he had screamed down the hall. It's like anything, Scotty. Sometimes, like in life, we do things, and at the time, it's really rough to go through. And then later you go, well, that was fun. Or you look back with better feelings than it was at the time. It's like pledging a fraternity. Now I look back and laugh about things. It was not very fun at the time. And Galloway and I enjoyed this like really, really good, steady relationship. And then our late great friend, Mark Frito Friedman, got involved and started producing the show, and he tried to stoke discontent between Randy and me. And he did a pretty good job of that. And so at the very end, after we'd been together for about 7 or 8 years, when Randy retired, we went through a period of time where Randy and I, it would be people that don't understand media, and people go, well, I have a bad boss, or I have this, or you cannot understand, like, in the media when two people have a bit of a falling out, like how ugly it can get. But the great news is, within about a year, we had made up, and we remain great friends to this day. But woo, it was scary there for a little while. And mainly, I've learned never to put anything in print or text that you wouldn't put out in public. But oh my gosh, the old man was coming at me in an aggressive manner. But again, everything, all's well that ends well. All right. Again, we were so good on that station. I spent a decade on 103.3. Scotty, we were so amazing that if you in fact, today I was in a courtesy car because I had to drop off a car today to get worked on. And I was in a courtesy car from the dealership. And the guy happened to put the station on my old station. And it was 103.3. And for a moment, I expected to hear sports come out of it. And it was religion. It's a religious station now. It was like somebody talking about, I don't know, I'm sure it was good. I'm sure it's a very good message, but some of the religious stations that are the talk religion are very on the judgmental sort of, hell and damnation or the fiery kind of stuff. I'd like a little more grace-filled message from time to time. I don't know where you get that these days. There used to be something in Dallas called like KCBI, like 90 point something. And that was a little more grace. And then you had a little bit, the music station, but not now. Even the whatever the Christian station has even changed. Okay, Scotty, I don't know how we took off on that, but how do we ever take off on anything? We've got a lot to go with today because we have some interesting things happening at 2:00. Scotty, let's take a quick break, and then lots of coaching carousel news. But I'll tell you what we'll do next, because I think it's important. We got breaking Mavs news, and I think this will make most Mavericks fans happy. But there is a new voice, and he's also an old voice when it comes to Mavericks basketball, and it appears that he is back in power. That is next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you receive a call from someone claiming to be from a company, don't give them your personal information, ever. Unless you know them personally, hang up and call the company back on a verified number.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks, to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Oh, yeah. Underdog now did win money on Monday Night Football. Lost money. Got to be honest with you. Went 2 for 4 last night on NBA action, but we learned our lesson. And the lesson is that points plus rebounds plus assists number is good because that's one of the ones I got right last night with Luka Doncic. So we're going to play it safe with 2 more superstars here. Kevin Durant higher than 34.5 points plus rebounds plus assists tonight. Steph Curry with higher than 38.5 points plus rebounds plus assists tonight. By the way, Steph Curry very quietly reminding everybody right now that he is still one of the best players in the NBA. He's had a terrific start to the season. And he was also on the LeBron James podcast, Mind the Game. And that was an outstanding interview. I got to watch that. VJ Edgecombe, I've got him with higher than 1.5 3-pointers made. You know, since that full roster has returned to health, VJ's become more of a role player than he was that first couple weeks of the season. I think he hits a couple 3 balls tonight. And remember, if you do the flex pick, like I like to do, you only got to get 2 of these 3 to win money. So make those picks with me on Underdog. Use that promo code Mosley. Get that free $50 of bonus cash with your first $5 deposit. And then you can play with me all the rest of football season long, plus a little NBA action here mid-week. Tomorrow, I will have my college football picks for the weekend, as I always like to do on Wednesdays. But right now, I give it back to Matt Mosley.
Well, I appreciate you handing that back. I was just going to send you something, Scotty. I mean, these are 2 men, as I just tweeted, that never skip leg day. And one of the things I don't do when I'm interviewing an elite athlete is I would not be in shorts. But then I don't spend the time in the weight room that our friend Ashley Hodge does. So, Scotty, look at that text I just sent you. Wow. I mean, this is apparently big interview they did with Cameron Carr on Sick'em, and Ashley has allowed himself to be photographed with again an elite athlete. And I got to say, Scotty, it looks like Ashley is doing it, getting his workouts in. In fact, I don't know if he's flexing that calf or what's going on down there, but that's an interesting deal. But that is one of the things that I learned early in my career. When you are around and when you cover, whether it be college football or NFL, and when you're anywhere connected to elite level athletes, don't ever do things out near them. Oh, Scotty was quick. Scotty was quick on that. Scotty, I mean, you got to say that right calf of Hodge. I mean, I don't know if he's flexing that thing. It kind of seems to be popping out there a little bit. Cam Carr has huge hops and so tremendous leg strength. Scotty, I mean, I think you have to say, I mean, as much as I would never do this. I would never put my legs on camera in a situation like this. But again, I don't think I probably have as athletic legs as Ashley has here. Care to comment?
Man, I would just say, and making a very lightweight allusion to events of the week. Ashley works out, and I don't know that I would be messing with Ashley. Okay, that's just what I'll say. He looks good. He looks good.
Golly, man, I'm afraid. He's a guy. I told recently. I said, I would kill to have people kind of say to me, "Hey, Mosley's looking too thin" or something.
You said that, and about 6 people said it throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, they were just trying to get in good with me, and I appreciate that. That is a good flattery. Will absolutely. One thing I've forgotten though, it just made me remember, Scotty. We have had access this week to Fran Fraschilla, and I have not followed up on that. So we have Scott Drew tomorrow, maybe Friday. Do we have an opening Friday? Maybe we think about getting Fran on that day. I've not been good about following him up, but yeah, I got to say, Scotty, Ashley. But see, here's the thing: he still plays pickup. This man is at least probably 5, 6 years older than I am, and but he's always kind of looked like that. Like, I don't think this is just he's just recently, and of course I could use some help. I'm too lazy to go find, and I'm too squeamish to give myself a shot. If somebody would come over here and do it on a daily basis or however long it is, I think I'd be open to some of that stuff. So anyway, if you've got some spare, whatever that stuff is, I'd be open to it. I'd look into it. I don't think that's what doctors recommend, though. It's just random people showing up. So I'll continue to do what doesn't work, which is my daily regimen of not eating until 6 o'clock. So that part of it I've got down. But then at 6, consuming massive amounts of calories. Okay. It doesn't work, but for some reason I continue to do it. I do have one interesting thing I've tried, Scotty, which is just eating a bunch of like peanut butter, and I grind it up, just actual peanuts at the store. I grind them up so there can't be any oil or sugar or anything with it, and I eat it just pure peanuts ground up into peanut butter. I don't know, that I may have discovered something here, like a Mosley peanut butter type diet. Anyway, we'll let you know if it starts to work. I certainly think early results are not that great. All right, Scotty, I was going to pull it up here, and I hope that you saw that this morning. Tim McMahon had the story. Oh man, let's get serious. Scotty. In fact, I haven't heard the sound in a while, so I would like a breaking news sounder, perhaps. I think would be big time breaking news on the Mosley Show. Tim McMahon has the story this morning on ESPN.com. Now, this is not your typical, sometimes you break news, you put it on Twitter. Shams Charania breaks news all the time. Now, this one had a big, nice story with layered detail after detail. And so we got the whole TikTok background kind of thing on. And boy, Scotty, this is one where I don't try to get out here and beat my chest too much, but I knew the minute that Mark Cuban sold that team that trouble awaited. And sure enough, it took Patrick Dumont, son-in-law of Miriam Adelson, about 2 minutes to go, no, we spent billions of dollars on this team. Mark Cuban doesn't continue to run everything. And in this story that Tim McMahon used to be I mentored the young man. Now I can barely get in touch with him at the Dallas Morning News. He's now with ESPN.com. He writes the story that Mark Cuban, in all his bravado, thought that he would sell this team, and because he was Mark Cuban, that they would let him keep making all the decisions. Well, he made a couple of mistakes. He embarrassed Nico Harrison. He had hired Nico Harrison as the GM. Now, Nico Harrison had tried to blame Mark for a couple of bad moves, both the Jalen Brunson, letting him get away. And then the what's that guy's name? Christian Wood was the center that they did. And so in those early days of Patrick Dumont taking over, Nico made a power move. First of all, Cuban embarrassed Nico by saying, getting everybody together and saying, don't worry, guys, you got the team together and everybody. I'm still in charge of basketball ops. I'm still the basketball guy. What did that do to Nico, who was buddies with all some of these players, and it diminished Nico? Well, Patrick Dumont, not long after that, says, I am the governor of this team. I will be making the deals. And then next thing you know, the team goes to the NBA Finals. Luka, of course, was a huge part of that. Kyrie, the rest of the team. But when that happened, Nico was smart enough to kind of position himself to be like, hey, look at what I did. Well, I helped get Kyrie in here. I helped fuel this thing. And Cuban got pushed further to the side to the point where he had zero say when Nico had Dumont's ear and convinced him that it would be a good thing to trade Luka. And so in this story on ESPN.com, all of the inner workings of what happened along the way, you start to hear about it, and you have more. Now, we all knew that Mark had been shoved to the side. Now, the good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like as things will continue to fall apart in the aftermath of the Luka trade, and then Anthony Davis was trying to come back, wanted to come back with the team this year. Nico, knowing he was in trouble, needed him to come back. People started to, Dumont got involved in that medical decision. Patrick Dumont. And on that fateful night when they gave up that game to Milwaukee, after that game, Cuban was at the game and he made a beeline for Dumont. And I believe they kind of walked off the court together that night. Well, Nico gets fired the next day. All right. It makes total sense that Cuban, who was on the outs for a little while, got his way back in there with Dumont, and now he's now got the seat at the table again. Dumont is the governor, but Mark Cuban is back at the table. This is what that story says. It makes complete sense, and it's too late to save the whole Luka thing. I mean, you can just watch Luka continue to do Luka things. Watch him with the Lakers right now. Watch him have 37 points in that game last night. Watch LeBron come back and obviously have to play second fiddle to the great Luka. But Scotty, Cuban is back. He is at the right hand of one Patrick Dumont. And so that is the latest to come out of Mavericks land. And it's a lot to take in. Nico will probably never work in the NBA again. Maybe Nike or somebody like that will move him in, but he'll never be in the position of strength again. Cuban now has back to having a major voice with the Mavericks. Scotty, I'm sure there's a fair amount of people in Mavericks land. And by the way, if you're watching us for the first time on Twitter today, this is kind of what we do. We do lots of Mavericks, lots of Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, I am very closely tied to Baylor. And so we do a lot of Baylor as well, okay? And so we would encourage you, if you're watching us on Twitter for the first time, to go sign up on Facebook. We have, in recent weeks, we've looked and at times have had as much as, I don't know, let's just say thousands of people have been on there watching us live. And we love that. We love that because when you start a new thing and start a YouTube thing and you never know, okay, who's out there, who's watching and all, we've been very much encouraged to find out that a lot of people have been monitoring, dropping in, and we would like to encourage you to sign up for YouTube, the YouTube channel. Now, Scotty, if I ever figure out a way like to boost and do all these things you do, I'll do it. All right. But for now, we've just done it in a very organic, natural way. If you said, Mosley, we'll give you can spend this much to get, 20,000 new subscribers. Would I do it? Yeah, probably. But I don't even know how that works. So for now, I can't do that because that would require me to actually be able to log on and do anything. But we did figure out how, because Scotty knows how to do a lot of this stuff, we did figure out how to get on Twitter Premium, and I now have that, which gives me the weird check mark, which honestly doesn't do much for me. I mean, I don't want to make Twitter mad, but from what I can tell, Scotty, even when I get to that point where I thought I was going to have to be able to write more characters, it still like cuts me off. I think it helps in some weird way, something, but, I don't know. I don't know what it does for us, but it has gotten us to a wider audience. So I do love that. So, and then we'll decide if we want to, if we want to do anything. I'm always, Scotty, getting these options to hit the button promote or boost. And the problem is I don't know what that means. And I fear that it might like hit me in the pocketbook. And I'm very protective of that right now, especially with a child in college. But perhaps if I hit promote, something good would happen. But for now, I'm gonna hold off on that. You like all these things that I'm doing? All right. So Scotty, come in here with me for a minute. We'll do some Campus Confidential. We're going to take care of our partners, and we'll do Campus Confidential in a minute. But I'm just curious, as a Mavs, as an MFFL, a man who's been known to put a Mavericks jersey, put a Luka jersey on, that type of thing. And we have too many people that work for us, Scotty, that are like Spurs fans, or like, I feel like Z might be like a Rockets fan, and Mike, I think, likes the Spurs. It's very upsetting. In fact, the founder and owner and the grand poobah of Rogue, Corey Dickman, is some kind of like Portland Trailblazers.
He does a whole show for the Trailblazers. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're interesting. Although, didn't the Mavericks beat them the other night in a shocking turn of events? I think the Mavs might have beaten them. But that's an interesting team to me. Scotty, I'll tell you what it does to me. The finding out that Mark Cuban is back to having a seat at the table just reinforces my anger that we got robbed of the Luka thing. Because if he had have never been kicked out of that role,
right, then
he wouldn't have allowed something stupid like that to happen. So, yeah, while it's fun to have Cooper Flag, and I think in time that'll be a great thing, that's not going to get the Mavs anywhere this season. No. They're sitting there at 4-11, and I don't think Kyrie can save the day, and they're being very cautious with Anthony Davis. You know why that is, Scotty? I think they're ramping up to trade that guy, and they may get.
I was about to say that.
Okay,
they're already shopping AD, which is just the ultimate concession, and we all have known this since the day the Luka deal went through. But like, it's the ultimate concession that was a horrible move that was never close in equal value. And I'm with you. I feel the same. Cuban being back at the table is good, and it makes me mad he was ever not at the table. And it made me mad a week after that Luka trade. I think the first show he said it on might have been Stephen A. Smith's podcast, when he went on YouTube the week after and said, "Oh, I wouldn't have done it. I would have never traded Luka." It's like, yeah, but here we are. Matt, I very famously on Pete's show transferred my fandom after that. I don't know that I can properly be called an MFFL though that is a label I wore for a long time. It's going to be hard for me to root against Luka Doncic ever. It's going to be hard for me to root against him.
Well, you can root for the Mavericks. You could, and still root for him.
Well,
those two things can happen at the same time.
Well, and I guess what I'm saying is if in the, and it won't happen this year because the Mavs are awful, but if it ended up being Mavs Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, Matt, I'll be honest with you, I'm probably rooting for Luka to get a revenge series. I'm probably rooting for Luka to like stick it to the Mavs, and one day I'll be all back MFFL wearing but the only Mavs shirt I've worn in the last, February to November, 9 months was my Luka jersey. I've worn the Luka jersey a couple times in defiance. I was, that deal was infuriating to me. So.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. I mean, I get it. If you were a child of the 80s like me, or like I am, you cannot root. I mean, in that one game, yes, I wanted Luka to go off like he did against the Mavericks. I get that. But if you were a child of the 80s and you remembered what the Lakers Mavs became, it wasn't Lakers Celtics, okay? It wasn't even. But it was, to us, it was a massive thing. You just can't bring yourself to root for the Lakers no matter who plays for them. But I am understanding of people like you who have ended up at that place. All right, because of the way we're structuring our 2:00, Scotty, let's take a break and then let's do some campus. And I've been really zeroing in on this Lane Kiffin thing, because I want to do some Campus Confidential. We could talk college basketball if you want to, Scotty. We can go anywhere you want to go. But I do have there's some stuff happening with Kiffin and his family. And I think Kiffin could be on the verge of making a huge mistake. Let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's do it next.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
There we are, Mosley and Scotty Schwingler rolling through a Wednesday afternoon, and got holiday week next week. That'll be interesting. We'll just kind of see how that all works. I mean, I got to go out and cover a game on Thanksgiving. We'll kind of look at everybody's schedule. I'll do whatever. I mean, as long as Scotty will, will be here with me. I think we can make whatever work. So we'll see. Scotty, there's probably someone in the Rogue Media family that's put out some sort of like holiday schedule. If you have seen anything like that, just at some point say, Mosley, this is what's happening, because those are the kind of details that I tend to miss in life, is any sort of scheduling thing like that. And in fact, but anyway, we got lots coming up and we got lots in store for you. And I mean, as we get into the holiday season, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and we are happy to share that time with you. It is time, just to let you know, by the way, we're going to have Michelle Lenard. We had some good soccer talk that broke out earlier that involved the Team USA, American soccer, and that they had some better performances in one of these friendlies. And even I love that Scotty even knew the name of this Argentinian coach, and very, very interesting. So I find I do have some interest in the U.S. I mean, not enough to watch a friendly, but as you get when you get closer to World Cup, and I think the Americans might be pretty good, I do get interested, and I will watch some soccer. Now, the one soccer team I have the most interest in is the Baylor Bear soccer team, and Michelle Lenard has become really good. I mean, she was a great coach at DBU. They won a ton there, and so you always wonder, okay, how is she going to be at this next level? And she's been great, and they just keep building, and they've done really well in the portal, and she's recruited extremely well, especially the Metroplex. She's recruited the Metroplex like crazy. And Hebron, Grapevine. I was just seeing, several of the top schools in the Metroplex, and a lot of them that win state titles. She is getting young ladies from those schools. They're playing in the NCAA soccer tournament, and that is second round against Wisconsin from South Bend, Indiana, happens at tomorrow. And so we'll get you more information, because I want to let you know how you can perhaps stream that, where you can watch it, and then because that's a big moment with all this turmoil going on with the Baylor athletics department. We might as well celebrate the people who are doing well. And if we don't watch it, we're just constantly focusing on football, which is understandable because that pays the bills. But some of these other sports, boy, the student athletes put in huge amount of time and hours in this coaching staff. So Michelle Lenard joins us at about 2:40 today, or 2:35. We'll call it 2:35, and that'll be great to hear from Coach Lenard. All right, Scotty, let's do some Campus Confidential as we let you know what's going on around the country in college athletics, college recruiting. I noticed something. I was looking at something about a Baylor recruit, and then and just what's happening in all of college athletics. Scotty Swingler, take it away, sir.
Matt, I've got two stories for you, and then I want to hear your Lane Kiffin take. First story, I think it would be foolish to do a Campus Confidential without this today. New playoff rankings dropped last night. Here they are.
Yeah.
And a couple things of interest to me. One, Notre Dame, and we've discussed this before, getting some real sweetheart treatment here, Matt. I don't know if anybody in America would pick Notre Dame to beat Alabama right now, and yet there they are at 9-10. And that is odd to me. By the way, the other thing of note, Tulane here at 24. In the AP poll, 2 Group of 5 schools were ranked ahead of Tulane, James Madison and North Texas. Yet, obviously, the College Football Playoff Committee has ranked Tulane higher than those two. Now, it is ultimately going to be one of these conference champions, so this point is mute if Tulane loses that conference championship game. But that was of interest to me. Texas dropping to 17. It would be really odd, it seems, for a 3-loss Texas team to get in at this point. I know that was a topic of discussion last week. Any reaction from you? Oh, and hello, Arizona State, by the way. It was Houston. They crept into the top 25 in the AP. They are number 23 here, and Arizona State has crept back in at 25.
Yeah, and the teams that creep back in help some of the teams that have wins or losses against them. That makes Tech's one loss look better. They also obviously were playing with a backup quarterback at the time. And do you have, Scotty, by the way, the projection? I like looking at the way the actual.
Let me grab it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're great.
Yeah, I like looking at the projection because what Scotty said was very much true about. Now, nobody wants to hear Alabama whine. The SEC gets preferential treatment in so many ways. That said, I hear you on Notre Dame. And let me tell you, I think Scotty will attest to this. Very early in the process, before anybody had ever gotten close to releasing rankings, Scotty, should I have tried to get Juracek his thing on? I feel like now that we've lost Mac, we're just refusing to honor whoever the new college football playoff chairperson is. I think to honor Mac, and Mac's going through some stuff right now, we're not going to have Juracek on. It's just too soon. Okay, it hurts too much. But now this is good, Scotty. But I think you'll recall that I told you. And I'm not saying this was breaking news. This is the way of the world for the past century. Notre Dame was going to get special treatment. Why is that? Well, because they have since Newt Rockne was coaching them. Because they have special treatment not having to be in a conference. Because they have an NBC contract completely separate of every other team in the country. That's a whole separate, their own deal. They're treated almost like a separate country when it comes to college football. So for anybody to be out there, how could they do this to Alabama? Well, I mean, the only thing we have to fall back on here is just a long, long history of this is how it happens. Now, I get it. Here's where Alabama's coming from. How do you put 2-loss Alabama behind a team that's beat number number 4, number 10, number 22, number 25. Like when you, and I don't have all those in front of me right now, but when you look at who Alabama has beaten, when you look at their strength of record, they've beaten a whole lot of teams. Who has Notre Dame beaten? Well, they beat a number 15 USC. And then there's one team, Scotty, can you put the projection back up real quick? I just love having it up there. There's one team that's ranked up high that, for instance, I guess Ohio State's beaten Texas. There's one team I was looking at earlier. That's it, Scotty. Oregon, in an opening round matchup, if it ended today, the CFP bracket projection, as you're looking at right now, it would be they would host Alabama. So again, what I'm saying is Alabama's strength of record and strength of schedule is better than Notre Dame. But just let's not be shocked why Notre Dame is there, because they're a separate entity, always treated differently than everybody else. So, and they had the good sense to get those games out of their system early. They started 1-2, and then they got on a roll. Again, their only somewhat impressive win is the number 15 team in the college football playoff, USC. Now they've had okay wins, but there's nothing else beside that one that really jumps out. I
think their remaining 2 games are not against quality opponents.
Correct. Now, Scotty, we might ask the question, who has Oregon beaten this season? They're sitting up there at number 7. They had that loss to Indiana, and we go, who has Oregon taken down? And the answer would be no one. And Scotty, there may be on their schedule, there may be something coming up that will give them an opportunity to get something, but
they've got USC.
Okay, so USC then could be the best win for Notre Dame and Oregon. But all these teams, and let's not act like sometimes we go, oh, this team skipped this team. I am well aware that Texas A&M, the schedule gods did them a huge solid this year. I get it, but they've beaten everybody they can beat. And when they could have tripped up and were down 30-3 at home against South Carolina, they came back and found a way. They beat Notre Dame on the road. Notre Dame's number 9 team in the country, or college football playoff. But boy, to your point, Scotty, from earlier, Notre Dame has only beaten one team, basically. What's funny is these teams are being rewarded for great losses, right?
Yeah.
Oregon, we thought it was a shocker. Well, you didn't, because, you had jumped on the Indiana bandwagon. Most of us thought that outcome was a shock, that Indiana would go in there and totally take care of business at Oregon. Well, now because of the way Indiana's gone the rest of the season, and that they're sitting there at number 2 in the land in college football playoff, that now looks like some kind of great game for Oregon. Oregon lost that game. It's just so funny how this works, because that loss now is more impressive than any win they've had this season. How strange is that? But this is what we do. And then we stand up there, and Mac was doing this too. I don't want it to be like, well, I'm going to jump on Hunter Yurachek. But then we get up there and we go, eye test. We like what Notre Dame's doing on offense. We like what their defense. It's a joke. Some of that stuff's a joke when they start talking about their eye test. We don't really like what so-and-so's doing down there in that red zone. Boy, I cringe. You're better off if you stick with the numbers. I would rather hear them go A&M's 25th in stop rate, and Ohio State and Indiana are both top 5. I'd rather hear that than you tell me that A&M's not, or somebody's not finishing in the red zone. Leave that for somebody else. All right. And, but they'll brag. We got football coaches in here. We got football coaches in the committee. Okay. That's great. That's great. We love that you're football coaches. That's wonderful to hear. Now, one thing that's getting complaints, Scotty, is that they love Utah. And it's funny because what just happened on the committee with the movement with Mac losing his role and stepping down, well, Utah got their AD put onto the committee. Let's remember, they didn't just put another coach in there. They put an AD, and then they promoted another AD. The guy they put on the committee, I mean, think about that, Scotty. What they probably should have done, and I like it because I want to see the Big 12 do well, but should they really have included – couldn't they have included somebody that didn't have a dog in the fight, a dog in the hunt? They probably should have. What they did is they opened it up for everybody to go, look at how they're treating Utah. Utah's only got one top 35. I mean, they obliterated our school, Baylor, the other night. Is that a good win? I mean, they looked great doing it, but they did it against a nothing team. I mean, where's Baylor when it comes to Baylor, that would count. Baylor right now, if you put Baylor in some kind of rankings that you included their offense and defense and their strength of record and strength of schedule, Scotty, I bet they're ranked, let's see, what are they now, 5-5? I bet they're ranked 70th in the country or something. Maybe I'm being too mean. Maybe they're in the 50s or 60s. They're not. That's not a quality win at all by Utah. It's not Utah's fault. You got to show up and beat whoever you play. But against the Bears, Scotty, what did they do? They lined the little guy up and just said, hey, these guys don't even know. These guys will freak out if we run Wildcat. They'll freak out even if it's not really Wildcat. This is a backup quarterback we're going to put in. Now, we're not going to throw it. We will not ask you to throw the ball, you little lefty. He's a good little lefty, by the way. He may be good in the future, that kid. But they're not even thinking about letting him throw the football. And still, they just embarrassed. But I'm sorry, Scotty, every road leads back to me being frustrated about Baylor. And anytime I feel some empathy for Aranda, I have flashbacks to how awful this defense is. And boy, if you let Aranda, he'd fire 7 more people to try to keep his job. That's okay. People fire coaches. That's okay. I'm not even saying he's a bad guy, but he's run out of people to fire. The only way you would bring back Dave Aranda is because you had all this Mac craziness happen. And maybe Aranda, it'll make it a little awkward to fire him if he wins these last 2. It might make it a little awkward even if he wins one of them and he goes 6-6. I do love these players, though. I am not one of these Baylor people rooting for them to lose. And by the way, there are some really good Baylor people that are maybe even some high-ranking type Baylor types that have wanted them to lose because they want to change. They want to change. These big boosters, these big money people, you think they're not just like us? They'd love to see a change. You know what? There are people sitting on the sidelines with money that are waiting to see what's going to happen. Wait till you go to them and go, hey, we're going to run it back for just 1 year. Let's give Dave 1 more year. You think the NIL money is going to come flying in on that? No, not in a million years. So you got no AD. And by the way, Scotty, and we'll talk more about this Kiffin thing in a minute, but I do think we're going to find something out one way or the other, maybe by the end of this week. All right. That's why we're both kind of checking our stuff at all times. I think Baylor knows it probably has to move on, but they got to get something hammered out. And they, I think we may, I'm not saying there'll be a new AD by the end of the week, but there may be some clarity on that situation by the time we finish our broadcast week. All right. And Scotty, that's the, what'll happen is the one day we'll take off for like Thanksgiving or something. That's when something major will happen. But that's just the way things are. But that's what the greatness of YouTube. That's why all you folks on Twitter right now should go sign up for the YouTube page and subscribe, because at the drop of a hat, Scotty and I, even if Scotty's like around the fire with his family, we might be able to just jump on from his laptop and from my home studio, and we could react almost immediately. I don't know, Scotty, I'm sorry. I'm hoping I may be ruining your holiday plans by saying things like that, but we do have the capacity to do things on the drop of a hat. All right, Scotty, what else do we have in Campus Confidential?
Let me give you one more story to react to just really quickly, and this is for the laughs. At least it made me laugh. Jordan Hudson keeps finding a way to get into the spotlight. Matt, did you know that if you're like a full-grown adult, you can be on a cheer squad? And like, not like, I'm not talking like NFL sideline. I'm talking like Jordan Hudson is apparently on a competitive adult co-ed cheer squad. And photos yesterday emerged of Coach Belichick supporting Hudson in her cheer competition as a grown adult, to which, again, I did not know that existed.
Competitive cheer?
Curious.
Adult competitive cheer? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes.
It almost sounds like
and there's, North Carolina head coach still in the middle of a season, Bill Belichick supporting Jordan at her cheer competition. And then, that was funny enough to me. But then earlier today, it was announced that Pablo Torre Finds Out, this excellent investigative podcast by sports journalist Pablo Torre, won an award. And Jordan Hudson, and this is her account, retweeted it and said, "You're welcome." You're welcome, Pablo Torre.
Been named one of the best shows and best episodes of 2025 by Apple Podcast. Couldn't do it without you sickos, he says. You're well. Now, I don't mind that. I think that's I think that makes her look good.
I think this is cheeky. This is cheeky and funny, Matt, but it's also obnoxious to me. I'm just be honest with you. Like this girl cannot stand being out of the spotlight for more than 2 weeks. And so there you go. Some Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick news for you on this Tuesday.
Well, and that's proof that Pablo's, he's got rent free in the head of Jordan and Bill and the whole gang. The more they would try to probably push back, and there were probably private emails or private stuff they were saying, we're going to sue you, all of that. And he just kept hitting them over the top of the head. And the thing is, man, that guy knows how to do all the records and open records and stuff. And plus, he's now got whoever they've done a deal with, he's got is it The Athletic that he's done? I mean, he's going to be lawyered up because he's not just out there on his own. He's got money behind him, and so it would take a lot to go after him. And then, of course, to prove that kind of stuff, like if you want to go after people for libel or whatever, I mean, it's such a high threshold in this country. I have vague memories of studying all that for in torts, I believe it was. Professor Morrison, who was the Waco mayor back in the day when I was in law school at Baylor. And I think now, Scotty, it's unfortunate. I'm not going to do this, but I think now with the way my brain functions now, as opposed to when I was 22, I would have been way better in law school. I kind of am almost intrigued by the idea of being back in law school. But I don't want to do like a Rodney Dangerfield going back to school at age 50. It might be kind of funny. It might be kind of funny to do that, but it would be too much work. I would do it just for a joke kind of thing. But then I think they would actually make me take the exams and study and stuff, and that wouldn't be fun. I think Baylor Law School ought to consider giving me an honorary degree, because I went to law school there, and I went on and I did some interesting things in life, and I've talked up the law school and said very kind things. Would you guys at Baylor Law School consider an honorary degree? Is that something that would pique your interest? They have a new dean, and the last one, the old dean, Dean Tobin, was my dean. So I think the new dean could help, and maybe they could like lift like the Pete Rose band they've put on me, Pete Rose like, although I didn't gamble on anything. Okay, Scotty, anything else in Campus Confidential, or did you want me to talk about Kiffin, or do we need to take another quick break?
No. Tell me about your Kiffin thoughts. We did it on this morning show a little bit. We're back into the territory of flight tracking and I will just say for my part, he did appear on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, and they of course kind of asked him about some of this, and he kind of answered with a non-answer. And I'll tell you, Matt, just his tone and appearance on Pat McAfee, he did not convince me at all that he's staying at Ole Miss.
Wow. I mean, the thing about Kiffin is, I mean, it always kind of feels like he's kind of having fun, like everything's a joke. And McAfee has the kind of atmosphere for a show that lends itself to that, and he's a perfect guest for McAfee. Now, again, what's always odd is when there's like these huge, everybody's waiting to see what Kiffin's up to. And so this could be a big news breaker. I mean, McAfee does fine on that. I don't want to suggest that he asks the proper questions, but it's always odd when you have the access to this there's this enormous news surrounding this person, and the guy he goes on with is more of a opinion, humor, over the top type show. It makes for an interesting mix. That said, all those times he had Aaron Rodgers on, some of that stuff got old, but Aaron Rodgers, it was at a time when the whole country and NFL was trying to figure out what Aaron Rodgers was up to. And so for the most part, McAfee handled that stuff pretty well. Here's what I think. I think that Scotty, he'd be crazy to do it. I think at age, he's 50. He's just turned 50, I think, Lane Kiffin, and he's done extremely well. And there may have been a time, if you've got, I understand the thought process. You've got Florida, you got huge leverage, you got LSU. Is LSU a better job than Ole Miss? In some ways, yes, some ways, no. In far as quality of life and the ability to have like a long career span, Ole Miss is much better. But here's the reason I think in the end he has to stay. And it has different reasons than money or any of that. I think most people think, well, he could get this huge money. He could make $15 million a year. Yeah, all that's true. But I don't think he can. I don't think his career will take another situation like whether it be Tennessee. I mean, how horribly it ended with the Raiders back when he was a younger man. But okay, so that it's in the context of all of that. But Scotty, think what he would be doing. Ole Miss is asking for an answer. Give us an answer. We're not going to let this hang over us being in the college football playoff. Some people have said he should be able to coach the team even if he leaves. Well, that's a joke. Like, who in their right mind is saying that? I think it was a former Florida receiver. Maybe they're setting it up to, I don't know. I think Chris Doering was the one out there saying that. That's laughable. He would be going to one of their rivals in the SEC. You can't let him stay there after they've announced that he's leaving and coach the team. Ole Miss, it's a joke. So I guess what I'm saying is this. Scotty, it's just, even Kiffin, even the great Kiffin, as funny and as weird and as wild, and I like all that stuff, but you can't say you've changed your life and that you're a new person and then stick it to your players like this. To me, this move would be almost evil. This move would almost, I mean, even by his standards, to leave a team that he's coached into the college football playoff hanging and let them have to be coached by an interim team in the college football playoff while you go and take another one. It's like the whole, like, you know, when with these people that get caught up in these extramarital whatever. I mean, it's like, how could the new person ever truly trust that it's not going to happen to them next? But you know what? They don't care, do they? Because LSU and Florida would be so excited, they would never think, oh, it could happen to us. It could happen to us, mainly because their graduates and their people and the amount of money they would pay, they would be under the mindset of, we're paying him so much and this is a huge job. He would never leave us. And I would say, oh yeah, he would. What job could possibly open up in the future that Lane Kiffin could be interested in? Oh, I don't know. Dallas Cowboys, Alabama Crimson Tide, where he coached with Saban. Is Alabama a bigger and better coaching job than LSU? Yes, it is. Is Georgia a better coaching job than LSU? Probably so. Probably so. Is Ohio State a better coaching job than LSU? Yes. Yes. Do you have more problems? I mean, you have huge problems in all of those places. But this thought that, oh, we're going to get him, and old Lane will be different once he gets there. People don't change. He's a, what do they call what Julia Roberts was when she kept jumping out of those weddings back in the day? The wedding jumper or whatever she was, the wedding runner, whatever she was with Richard Gere in that movie. You know, that was what she was known for. She'd get right there, get right down, ready to walk down the aisle, and she'd go racing out of there. And then I think she fell in love with the journalist Richard Gere. I mean, who wouldn't have? You know, Gere was pretty good back in whenever that movie was made, early 2000s. Still had a pretty good look about him. But she was a wedding jumper. And but Wedding Crashers was a better movie. But The Wedding Jumper, that was an okay deal. This is I think that Scotty's right. He appears like he's entertaining this totally. Now, here's what I hope he's doing. This is what he needs to be doing. He needs to drive. He's making $9 million a year at Ole Miss. It's like the 5th highest in the SEC. He needs to get that up. Ole Miss needs to get that up to about 12 and just stay. I mean, because is 15 a year at LSU that much better than 12 mil at Ole Miss? No, it's not. It's not. And that way, you get the money up where it needs to be, and you don't abandon your players. I just think I think he's kind of rehabbed his image. And I think if he does this, he'd go right back to being a bad guy. He would look to most of America, not at LSU or Florida, wherever he ended up. They would love him. But to most of America, he would go right back to being just a really bad guy. And I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can do it. So as I sit here today, I give this thing, I think it's a 90% chance that he stays at Ole Miss, and Jimbo, what's his name, or Jimmy Sexton, his agent, is using this to get him 12 to 13 million a year at Ole Miss, which is unbelievable, and would put him only behind Kirby. Kirby makes $13.6 million at Georgia. And dadgum, I mean, Kalen DeBoer's making like something crazy, like 11 or 12 at Alabama. Crazy. Isn't that wild? But anyway, that's the way, Scotty, I find this thing going. All right, Scotty, do we need to take one more break before we get to our guest, or you want me? Can I keep rolling? What's our best?
Yeah, let's get one more break
here?
in if we can.
All right. Let's take care of our unbelievable partners. Thank you, Central National Bank, for being our unbelievable presenting sponsor. And thank you, Ascension Providence. These interviews, Scotty's they're illuminating. They're good. It shows how much talent you have in your hospital system. Wow. It's very, very impressive. Thank you, Ascension Providence, for that. And tell you what we'll do. We're gonna come back and we're gonna get ready to talk to the head coach, Baylor soccer, as the Bears look to try to advance to the third round of the NCAA tournament as they get it on with the Wisconsin Badgers in South Bend, Indiana tomorrow. All that coming up next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. Don't buy from social media ads unless the ad is from a verified company. When you click those ads, you open yourself up to fraud. If it seems too good to be true, it almost always is. This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup. From cars, trucks, to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
All right, it's Mosley Show, and what a day it has been. I mean, even at times I'm like, well, today, I mean, just always something breaking, always something going on. A reminder, Scott Drew coming up tomorrow, and there'll be a lot to kind of cover as we get ready for that big Las Vegas Invitational. There's some things. In fact, I'm going to go back tonight and kind of check that. Oh, I believe it was that Tarleton game that I have some interest in going back and looking at some things, and then we'll kind of check some things with Scott as this team starts to kind of come together, and they're kind of watching it and seeing what will happen. I thought that was interesting last night, Scotty, and then. Coming up here pretty quickly, the coach of Baylor soccer, as they get ready to take on Wisconsin. You know, we do a ton of Cowboys and Baylor and in Mavericks. We had major news today. It looks like Mark Cuban is absolutely, if you wondered if he still had a seat at the table, I mean, in the way this came across in Tim McMahon's story on ESPN.com this morning was that he jumped right in there and he felt pushed out, shoved out by Nico. Nico felt disrespected, and then Mark got the reins back. Mark's got a big seat at the table. Dumont, make no mistake, has the biggest seat at the table, but at least Dumont right now is kind of starting to admit, hey, I'm clueless. I mean, he's not going to come out and say that, but, you know, again, I don't blame anybody for marrying for money. I married for love and you know, I mean, but it's and I'm very happy I did 27 years into this thing. But this guy, what happens is people become, you know, they marry someone and then he's suddenly a part of a billionaire family. And then it's like, well, I guess I'm a basketball expert. Well, let's see, who should I listen to? Mark Cuban, the guy who's been doing this for 20-something, 25 years or 30 years with the Mavericks, or Nico Harrison, who's trying to sign people to sneaker contracts over at Nike and his buddies with Anthony Davis and all this. Oh, I think I'll go with Nico. We just went to the finals. This is easy. I'm here. But yeah, this guy Nico has convinced me that Luka likes to drink. He's out of shape. He might get injured. I don't want to commit all this money. I don't want to commit all my mother-in-law's money to this guy. So this sounds like a pretty good deal. We'll privately do a brother-in-law deal with the Lakers. We'll bring Anthony Davis in here. We'll get one draft pick for 2029, and we'll send them pretty much the greatest player of his generation. All right. We'll just a guy that probably going to be the MVP this year. What a joke. I mean, again, Dumont deserves bigger. The only reason Dumont doesn't get more heat is because, like, we don't really know him. We all know he just kind of was clueless anyway. Like, it just kind of. So at least now he's realized, okay, I screwed up. I got this team. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's put Cuban back in here because, and by the way, I do not want to insinuate that Cuban is some kind of fix-all. I mean, did he blow up the team after they won a title in 2011? Yes. Did he let Steve Nash walk? Yes. Did I think he played a role in screwing up the Jalen Brunson stuff? Yes. So I do not want to insinuate that, oh, good times are here again because Mark Cuban never messes up. All right, because he does. But the Mavs have a way better chance of getting things done with Cuban as the biggest voice in the room in Dumont's ear. But you don't let Dumont ever do anything again. At least Dumont is listening to people. His medical people said, hey, keep shutting down Anthony Davis. And let me tell you what they're trying to do to Anthony Davis. don't let him get back out there and get injured for the rest of the year, because any trade value he has is completely gone after that. Send him back to see if you can get a 2009 draft pick back. How about that? I mean, you got one. I mean, how embarrassing is it? That's what they got. See if you could get could you get one future first round pick? Probably not. Could you get 2 second-round picks for Anthony Davis? Probably so. It's a joke. The entire thing. All right, man. We're excited to bring this to you. Scotty and I were able to execute this earlier today, which is kind of why it'll appear like it does. So, but I'll even be wearing the exact same thing I am. So who knows? Maybe it'll be just completely seamless. But we did have a chance to catch up with the coach of the Baylor soccer team, which is number 23 in the country. At one point was number 16 in the country, had a little bit of a dip late in the season, but have found their footing again. This is an exciting Baylor soccer team, and I am very fortunate that they allowed me to jump on the bandwagon. And on the eve of them getting ready to play in this huge game against Wisconsin, Michelle Lenard joined the Matt Mosley Show right here on Rogue Media Network. Matt Mosley Show, and Coach Michelle Lenard now joining us from South Bend, Indiana, and probably right there, Touchdown Jesus. She's maybe in the shadows of Touchdown Jesus, getting ready for this second-round matchup, the NCAA tournament. Coach, congratulations. This is the first time Baylor's been to this since 2018. And, this is very exciting time for the team and everybody. And there was some pomp and circumstance when y'all were leaving town. How are you kind of managing letting them enjoy the excitement of Baylor returning to a big event while also trying to keep them focused and at least try to get them in that mindset of we got to go out and play our normal type game?
Yeah, I think that's the way the team approaches every game. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy our experience. We talk a lot about being present, being in the moment. And, being a college athlete is hard enough. So we want to enjoy the opportunities we get to travel different places and see different things. But we're coming for one purpose, and that's to play soccer and to get a result. And so I don't have too many concerns that the team will be distracted by this being a different experience than a regular game. We came to play, and we said last night we got off the bus, we didn't come to Indiana for any other reason other than to play soccer. Otherwise, we likely wouldn't be here. So we're very focused on the task at hand. We have fun together. We enjoy the experience, but when the whistle blows, we're all business.
What do you – I want to start out – I want to talk about some of your players and everything, but the Badgers, this is going to be those of us that maybe haven't followed Big Ten soccer this year. I would imagine you always have a feel for what's happening around the country, but then you find out who your opponent is. You really have to do a deep dive. I do think you have at least one transfer on your team from Purdue, I think it is. So you have some Big Ten flavor on the team, but what do we expect from Wisconsin? What are they sort of known for? And what do you guys have to, in preparing for this team, what do you really have to be prepared most for?
Well, they're a very well-organized team. They're well-coached. They have a lot of defensive discipline, so they're hard to break down. Big, strong, and very physical. So we expect it to be a really physical game. That's typical of the Big Ten as a whole. Nothing overly sophisticated about their tactics, but discipline, very high level of discipline all the way around. They stay connected. They're willing to concede possession to stay organized and look to win the ball and score on a counterattack. And again, they've got big physical athletic players. And so we're expecting it to be a battle. We're going to have to be tough. We're going to have to be competitive. We need to win our duels. We need to win second balls. If we can win duels and win second balls, then I believe that we'll be able to settle into playing and knocking the ball around the way that we want to play. But we have to get some control over the game. And the only way we can do that is to compete physically early on and make sure we don't get pushed around. And once we settle in, I think it's going to require some patience. We're not going to be able to break them down immediately because of how well organized they are. But so far this season, when we've been patient and we've circulated the ball, we've kept it, we've eventually found solutions to solve our opponent's pressure. No one's been able to defend us for 90 minutes when we've played well in a lower mid block like this team plays in. So optimistic. We do have to be smart in the beginning, not to give up something silly. It might take a little time, but we got to really settle into our style of play.
It is interesting how they come in flurries, isn't it? I mean, I'm thinking back to some of these games, even recently, it took a little bit against Texas State. Boom, you make it. And then as you were saying after the game, like that first 5 minutes of the second half, I me being a big football guy, always think about more and more. They always think about how huge the last minutes of the first half and in the first few minutes of that second half have become an even bigger deal. And I guess it's that way in soccer. What is it about that y'all seem to, like you say, sometimes it takes a little while to settle in, see how the game's going to go. But boy, when y'all break through, it does seem to be a flurry, and then you're pretty good at finishing off teams when you get a chance.
Yeah, I think, we talk all the time in soccer too about the big five is what we call the big five. The first 5 minutes of the half, the last 5 minutes of the half, and the 5 minutes following a goal being scored. More goals are scored in those 5 minute increments than any other time in the game. And the 5 minutes after a goal is scored, it doesn't matter who just scored. The likelihood of either team scoring another goal in that 5 minutes is really high, just statistically. So we have to manage and control those 5 minute increments. We want to be dangerous in those moments, but we also want to make sure we're not giving up chances. At the beginning of a game, teams are filling each other out. Teams are often very organized. They're not tired yet. And so that's why it can take a minute. It can take a minute to break them down. And we have to be patient in those moments. Sometimes you get off to a good start and you create some early opportunities. But at this point in the year, teams are very organized. Texas State defended in the first phase very similarly to how Wisconsin will. They stay together. They press together. They want to trap you wide. They don't open up a lot of central spaces. So we're going to have to move the ball well to create the central spaces to attack that we need to create. And so we just got through doing that against Texas State. They're different outside of that phase of play, but that one phase of play, they're very similar. But it'll come. It'll come with persistence and with patience. But we got to take care of the ball in the meantime. We don't want to try to force it and give up a lot of counterattack opportunities for a team who's dangerous on the counterattack.
You've got an interesting team because you've got some great transfers that you've mixed in with some talented young freshmen, and that may be the formula these days. But even watching Olivia Hess in some of the highlights and throughout the season and all, it's sort of amazing if you just give her, and you've got other people like this, but it's kind of, not always. With some freshmen in the past, I'm sure you've had to kind of see them grow, right, and develop. In this world of the portal, boy, if you get a big-time freshman, you really need them to shine and perform right away. And she just seems like somebody that's just building and building. How big has she been, and do you just see the confidence continuing to grow? I guess with some of these girls that you've been recruiting forever, they don't ever lack for confidence, do they? Because they've been performing at such a high level in club for so long. Do some of them just show up ready, like there's not even a ramp-up period? And is she one of them?
Now, Liv's been awesome. She's been fantastic. She started off the season really well, really confident. She moves the ball really. She's one of the most technical players that we have. She's a great passer. She can really thread the needle in a way that most players can't. Great vision. For her, she started high, and then everybody found out about her, and then she started getting double teamed and a man marked. And so then it had to be, okay, now it's time to grow into that. Teams or players are being really physical with her. How does she handle the physicality? Teams are causing her some tactical challenges. Can she be more sophisticated in her movement to create new spaces to get on the ball? So there was a stretch in the middle of the season where I think she hit a learning curve because she's been doing so well and teams are getting her or scouting her. But in the last few games, she's really shown growth in her ability to deal with the physicality and her ability to create better spaces for herself to get on the ball. And then when she does get on the ball, she can do some really special things. So started strong, got scouted, had to learn a couple things fast, did that, and is now shining again. And we expect her ceiling is super high. I don't think she's gotten anywhere near what she's capable of. She had an assist and a goal in the last game. And the assist was really just a rocket shot that deflected off the goalkeeper. And she has a weapon on that left foot. And so if we can get her to get some more shots off from dangerous spaces, we're going to see her start scoring more goals as well. So she's been fantastic, but I would not say that it's common for a freshman to come in and play with that much confidence. I think that's uncommon. I think she's been uncommon in that way. And we're really proud of her, really happy with her.
That's got to be interesting. When people transfer, sometimes they'll go off to places, but then sometimes they're from Texas, right? Maybe they want to be closer to home. How do you handle that as a coach these days? I guess you just have to kind of keep track of everybody right across the country and go, well, that girl I was recruiting, I was thinking of Ariana. She actually just went to Houston. But how interesting is that? Do you almost have like people on your staff assigned to maybe players that you really wanted at one point, but hey, let's track them and see how they're doing? How do you sort of manage the players on your roster while also keep it being mindful of there's some people, some talented people that maybe you didn't get that you at least want to kind of not stay in contact with, because I know you don't actively recruit them while they're on other rosters, but you know what I mean? Track what they're doing in other places.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we keep up with a lot of the players that we recruit just because we follow NCAA soccer closely, and we've known a lot of these kids for years because we watch them and recruit them for years. So especially the ones that go in the Big 12, I mean, we're super familiar with them. But we kind of keep a close eye on them. The ones that are from Texas, again, we've known them forever. We know their club coaches. And so then when they hit the portal, a lot of times it's not always entirely surprising. We're tracking how programs are doing, whether that player's playing much or whether that team is doing well, and kind of anticipating some players potentially leaving. So it is a new day and age with the portal. I mean, we want to have a solid base of players that we bring in as freshmen and that we develop and that we keep. We also want to utilize the portal. And so sometimes we don't win the recruiting battle the first time around. There's various reasons for that. They go somewhere, they think they want to go far from home, or they think they find a better fit, and the grass is not always greener. So we certainly sometimes catch them on the backside whenever they go off and realize it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and maybe Baylor's a better fit. And that's happened with several of these players. So we track them pretty closely, and we get them back when we can.
The grass is always greener compared to Fort Worth. If a kid's at TCU, our grass is better. I mean, I think of Azul. Azul Alvarez has been huge for you this year. 10 shutouts. And I've seen her make countless plays where she'll just go diving in there, and plays where other goalkeepers, there's a rebound to be had or something. A lot of times she kind of vacuums it up. That's got to be an interesting thing to see a player maybe not getting the time she had hoped. She comes to you and she's really become a breakout. First of all, how much confidence does that give, or comfort does that give a team to have somebody that talented back there behind them? And then that's got to be kind of cool when she goes in and plays against a rival. I think they took like 28 shots on her, maybe in one of those matchups I noticed. So they were very active. But what's that been like to kind of watch her grow and obviously become one of the better players in the Big 12?
Yeah, no, Azul's fantastic. She gives our team a high level of confidence and playing the way that we want to play. She's a great shot stopper. She got great hands. She holds a lot of things a lot of other goalkeepers have to push away. She's very athletic. She's really good with her feet, and we play out from her all the time. And so she's got great presence in the box. She's really good in the air. So all the things you want out of a goalkeeper. It gives our back line a lot of confidence. They trust her. She trusts herself, and she trusts her defenders as well. So she's been fantastic, a huge part of our success. And you got to have that. I mean, you got to have goalkeepers and goal scorers. I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, if you want to win championships and compete, go to the NCAA tournament, goalkeepers and goal scorers. Without those two pieces, you can have a good team that just falls flat consistently. And so we've got those two things this year, and Azul's been rock solid for us. And we've got another year with her, and we're really grateful for that. And then eventually after that, she'll go on and she'll be a pro, and she'll be an excellent pro.
All right. Is Ariana Jemison your most creative player? And when someone's 5'3", because you have 5'7", 5'9", this can be a very physical game. And it's become even more physical, it seems like. But when you're a shorter player like she is, and she's obviously a spark plug for you, but do you have to be that much more creative? Do you find that the players that are a little closer to the game tend to be a little more creative with the ball? I'm just watching her. It's just kind of amazing to see how she kind of gets in and out of little areas and creates things for you.
No, she's great on the ball. She's very creative. She's very technical, unpredictable. And so I think that's what makes her special is you think you know what she's about to do, and then she does something else. She's good on both feet, so she doesn't favor going one direction over the other. She can really strike a ball well, and not just hard, but she can shape it with different, surfaces of her foot, bend it and make it knuckle, make it dip. She can do things a lot of people can't do. And so she's a constant threat, a constant weapon. You're right. The smaller players can sometimes be harder to defend for the center back. A profile of a center back in the Big Ten is probably 5'9", 5'10", big, tall, maybe not as mobile. Maybe they can't change directions as well as a 5'3", dynamic, athletic player who can cut and shift and change directions on a dime. And that's what Ari can do. So she's definitely going to be able to come in and make a huge impact for us tomorrow, get on the ball. She'll get fouled. She draws fouls like crazy. She frustrates players. She frustrates defenders. And so we can, keep her out there as long as possible, keep her healthy. She's going to be able to cause some problems tomorrow.
Okay, how do you handle it? Last one for you. This time of year, because there's at least one real huge job opening that just happened in the state. And obviously, we don't want to lose you. I don't know if college coaches maybe have agents and that kind of thing. In college football, obviously, they address it with their team. I do think people are going to try, be very interested in you. And I don't know if you've been contacted or not. How do you kind of handle that? Because you've already had it happen at one place that you loved, and Baylor was able to hire you away from DBU. When your team has this much success, and obviously you've put a really talented team together, you're going to get looks from other schools. How do you kind of handle that?
Honestly, we haven't talked about it. We haven't thought about it. Like, we've just been focused on our season. I'm not looking to make a change. I love my job here. I love what we're building. I believe in what we're building. We just got through recruiting a really talented 2027 class that we've already got 9 players in. So the future for Baylor soccer is really bright. I think everybody right now is very much in the moment, and nobody's thinking about what might be or what could be or what's next year. We're just trying to stay focused on what's in front of us, and that's Wisconsin tomorrow. And so as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing there regarding that.
Okay.
I'm focused on this team and what we're trying to build here, and not just this season, but, for years ahead.
All right. I'm just trying to keep anybody in maroon from getting close to you. All right.
I understand.
Okay. All right. Hey, this is exciting for people. Okay. And I got to figure out how to watch this, because it's, some of the games, ESPN Plus is what we're used to watching the Baylor games on. And so everybody will need to kind of, figure out how to follow this and everything. But I think everybody's extremely excited, and I appreciate you doing it on such a busy day. And I know you got all kinds of things to see to. I know you're on a tight schedule. So thank you I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it as well. Yeah, we're heading to training right now. We're staying in a central time zone. We're driving into Eastern time zone. So we're losing an hour here. And then we'll be back later tonight. Indiana's weird with time zones, but we really appreciate you guys bringing me on and telling our story about our team. And we love the support. So thank you.
All right. And if you want to accuse me of front running, I think it's accurate. But I have been monitoring things since October, and you guys are a very exciting team to watch. And I cannot believe some of even the majors on your team, like applied mathematics, and you got magna cum laude. So I think this is not a situation where people are. Oh my gosh, you got people going to class, it appears, on your team.
Yeah, they're going to class. They're flying planes. They're going to be doctors and neurosurgeons and orthopedic. These are smart kids. So
who is your pilot? Who's your pilot?
Ashley Zirkle. Ashley Zirkle, one of our goalkeepers. She scored the game-winning penalty in the game against Texas Tech.
Yeah, she ripped that. She ripped that shot. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
She
okay.
Flies planes. She flies helicopters. That was nothing.
All right. Well, I guess if you need to go on a recruiting trip or whatever, Zirkle's got your back. So that's good. Exactly. Okay, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. They're going to leave me.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm horrible about this. All right. There she goes.
Oh, all good.
Coach Lenard. Coach Lenard off to catch the bus. Don't want her to get left behind there as they get ready to do some training, and they will face Wisconsin tomorrow, and we'll get you all the details on that, because these things, we're so used to watching these things on ESPN. We'll get you all the details on how you can take that game in. But great to have Coach on here on the Matt Mosley Show on Rogue Media Network. Tell you what we'll do. We got to say goodbye, and it's been a good day. A lot to cover, lots of Baylor, lots of NFL, and even some new Cowboys news that emerged today. Always good. And the latest, of course, we hit on Lane Kiffin. It's heating up, and it's getting more and more interesting. The other thing, Scotty, as you well know, this situation with Mark Cuban, he's back. He's back. Big story today on ESPN about Mark Cuban being right back at the table. We'll have more on that in the coming days. That has been the Matt Mosley Show. Great guest there, Michelle Lenard, as she gets ready. Round 2 of the NCAA tournament for really one of the more successful teams at Baylor. She has got that program going in the right direction. Great to have her. We will see you guys tomorrow for Scott Drew. Let's not forget, Scott Drew joins us about 2:15, 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.